Hi my salty pecans, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pamela, and on today's video we are going to be repotting a multitude of house plants. Yes, your girl has a whole bunch of plants that need a new pot. I am someone who pushes back repotting my plants to the very last minute. I let my plants get so root bound. I make sure that the container that they're in, they can no longer be in another container. Okay, I let them struggle, suffer, and it's worked for me until I notice the plants are declining in health, and then I choose to repot it. And I've noticed there are quite a few plants in my collection that the health has been declining, so to avoid any more negativity, we are repotting them. Okay, so this is one of the beauties that we are repotting in today's video. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. Hey salty peeps, y'all probably can't see me, but this is going to be a faceless repotting. I have multiple Hoyas that need a new container. I've already done one off screen, which was my Polyneura Broguette that has been in literally dire need of attention. Okay, so I did the Broguette off camera and I said, you know what, let me record the remainder of the Hoyas that I'm going to be repotting. I will be switching up containers for other containers, but I'm gonna try to maybe do a voiceover as well. This is the first Hoya that we're going to repot, okay? And then the next Hoya is actually this one, which is my variegated carry-eye. It's been in this container. I did not realize that this whole container like is broken, and no wonder my plant could not retain any water. So this is going to get repotted as well. I don't have that many containers to switch them around into, so I'm going to remove plants in containers, place them in other containers, and repot them at a later time. For example, I have this gigantic, well, almost gigantic aloe plant that's going to get repotted into this poinsettia planter that, you know, has long seen its maker. All right, and then I'm gonna try to put this inside of this container to give it just a smidge of a larger planter. So literally, momentarily, this room needs to be cleaned so badly as well. But again, this is just temporary. I'm just putting it in here so I have somewhere for it to go. And I'm going to just pot this into here. Okay, let me show you all the roots on this plant. Oh my gosh, oh, that poor Polyneura Broguette was struggling. The roots were so healthy though. But here is this beauty. I love this plant so much. It's so gorgeous. And we are just going to basically transplant it into here. Okay, and this is the perfect size container for it. I'm actually going to toss this soil. This was the soil that was in my Polyneura Broguette. I'm gonna bake it to kill any living bacteria. I've never done that before, so I'm actually not gonna toss this. I'm going to save this and bake it to just kill any buddies that want to stick around. So bottom of this container, I'm going to use dryer sheets. This is about half of here would be good. I love to just line, and I love using dryer sheets. They're perfect. This is just some pre-mixed soil from from another time, and I'm gonna just add onto it. This already has plenty of perlite, maybe some soil, some sphagnum peat moss, a little bit of orchid, some charcoal bits, but I'm going to add some more.
So everything I just mentioned, I am adding fresh of it. So some fresh peat moss, some fresh orchid bark, some fresh charcoal bits, and also osmocote, which is slow release fertilizer pellets. Every time I water, I know at least, the plant is getting a little bit of fertilization, even if I forget to fertilize using something else. And I love mosquito bits. Mosquito bits, literally, I have to have mosquito bits in every plant. Now what I am showing you is the prior dryer sheet that I used in the previous container. I'm just picking at it, removing it. It's not difficult to remove. Just, pull and being as gentle as I can, not to break, any excess roots, but whatever gets snagged. Whenever you buy starter plants, usually they're wrapped around these mesh, these little mesh wrappers, these mesh dryer sheets. So remove that, because now I have new mesh in this new larger container.
I'm gonna decompact it a little.
And the reason I'm decompacting is, one, to make sure the plant fits inside of the container, and secondly, to allow the roots and the, let's say, new soil, the new medium, to interact with each other so the plant doesn't feel stifled. And a lot of the times when you water your plants and you don't think it's being fully watered, it's because the soil is too compacted. So again, just decompacting it, allowing the roots and the new soil to kind of marinate, really, it's beneficial. Oh man, I really regretted doing this part, but look, I wrapped this twine. It's not twine, it's one of those metal ties, those twist ties. It snapped the very brand new, fresh, new growth of my Calistophylla. I am so saddened about that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you see? This is so sad. I couldn't believe that happened. I literally tucked it away because I'm like, let's pretend this didn't happen. I have softer ties. I just, for the life of me, could not find it at the time of filming. I was so bummed out. But don't do this. Be very careful when you're wrapping new growth, because it is so soft and so fragile that it could snap literally at a snap of a finger. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to just tap the sides, add any additional soil if I have to. But this is my freshly potted Calistophylla, much needed. Did you hear my cat chattering? She sees a bird on the fire escape. But anyways, so this portion of the repotting is my Hoya variegated sweetheart carrii. Yes, oh my gosh, look at the roots. This plant was so embarrassingly inside of this plastic container. I did not realize this plastic container was broken. So I was just soaking the plants, watering it, And of course the water would run out, as if it was so dry. Like, I did not understand. And then I looked and noticed that this thing was broken. So no water was actually penetrating or being absorbed by this plant. So I had to upgrade this planter pot immediately. This plant, immediately. I've had it for a few years now, and it's grown, look the same, it's grown, but hasn't given me the growth that I expected, or the growth like my other Hoyas have given me. Yeah, so we're switching out the container. I'm gonna give it this larger green container versus that smaller black container. Honestly, I have plenty of plastic pots. This is okay. I'll give it a larger container, so at least I know it has plenty of growing room for the next coming years, instead of, the next year or in the next 2 years being like, oh my gosh, I have to repot it. At least I know it's gonna be good inside of that container for a while. So the next plant on the repotting block is my lovely, one of my most favorite plants, my Hoya Swiffer's Tail. Creating, like the other prior repottings, my substrate mix. This time I'm breaking up the orchid chips a bit because they're a bit chunky, so to fit in this smaller container, I'm just breaking it up to make it size appropriate. Adding some perlite, some charcoal bits, and a little bit of moss. I think I added some peat moss. And of course, grabbing my used dryer sheet to line the bottom of it. I hate when I water my plants, when I soak my plants, and I see soil just coming out from the bottom, or I see soil medium coming out from the bottom. It clogs my drains. I don't need any of that at all. So I do that for precautionary measures. And when it's time to repot, it's a matter of pulling that thing and adding a new one and tossing it out. I would rather sacrifice a few little pieces of root bits than having chunks of soil, chunks of perlite, orchid going down my drainage or seeping out of the plant. So yeah, I added my Swiffer's Tail, and I'm just now adding, the soil mix, the substrate mix that I created. Again, for Hoyas, I do like a well-draining, airy soil. For certain Hoyas, not every Hoya. There are some Hoyas that love to be moist, like my Polyneura. So I did a different substrate mix for the Polyneura than I have been doing for these more terrestrial Hoyas.
Thank you so much, Salty Peeps, for watching today's repotting. If you liked it, please let me know by giving it a big old thumbs up and sharing. Subscribe if you aren't already. Become a Salty Pecan, because we're pretty awesome here. And also follow me on my other social media platforms at HauzPlant, HauzPlant. And I will see you on the next one. Let's get going. Bye.